Hello everyone, welcome to block 1 of Most Wonderful Time. This is the tips and tricks of each one. I just want to, talk with you about it as I do it. Or as we go through it. I think the hardest thing on this one is getting this vinyl in the right place. You've got a layout guide. If you don't have a layout guide, if something happened when your kit was being assembled and you're missing layout guides, please be sure to contact me. I can send them to you. So layout guides, it will have you, that's the first thing you need to put down is that vinyl. And in order to get I thought I had mine perfectly in the right place. I stitched around it with a sewing machine to hold it down. And it turns out I did not have it in the right place right up here. The tree covers it. Otherwise you would be able to see that it's not attached right there. So I think that's the hardest part. If I were doing it again, rather than cutting it the right size and stitching it, I would just lay the bigger piece down, draw where it needed to be stitched outside that shape so that the pencil lines aren't going to mark, and then go back and clip it closely on the outside afterwards. Another question that I get asked is about the gray wool that goes underneath this. It is on top of the red. So the red goes out there and then the gray goes on top of it. Typically, when we are putting wool on top of other wool, we only let them overlap by about 1/4 of an inch. But I have found in some of my projects that that it can leave a ridge there where that 1/4 inch is. And so in a lot of cases, I just covered the whole thing, and that's what happened right here. Now this is a blanket stitch right here, but it's a special blanket stitch. Let me grab something that I can show you with. Rather than stitching it, I think I'm going to draw it for you. Okay, this isn't a thick Sharpie, but I'll try and show it to you. So let's imagine for a minute that the shape looks like this. Okay, so I start over here and I do a blanket stitch, and then I do another one with a small gap in between. Small gap in between, I'm doing blanket stitches, and those blanket stitches go all the way to the other side. They're long blanket stitches, so I'm just going along this side. When I get to the end over here and I've made the last one that fits, then I just back stitched along this edge, and now when I get to here, I'm going to do a blanket stitch in between going the other direction. And that's how I fill in the space. So how close should they be? They should be about 1 stitch width apart so that when you're finished, you have that nice edge all the way around it and you fill in the gaps in between. Now you can cheat. If you have too big of a spot right here, you can go back afterwards and just add a straight stitch where you need to. But that will give you the nice look that you have here. Okay, this one is a needle weave bar or a needle bar. Typically a needle bar has 2 parallel lines, but when I do the bow up here, they're close together at the top, they're far apart or close together at the bottom, far apart at the top, and as you weave, it'll fill that space in between. When it comes to putting this on, I can't remember if I blanket stitched or straight stitched the little lines here, but I liked how it looked with these bullions scalloped over top of it. So again, these lines alternate between long and short, except not just long short. They're kind of random. And then over top of that, put your bullion stitches on. And I had to tack my bullion knots down. If you look super close, you can sometimes see when I tacked them down, if they were a slightly different color, they might show up a little bit better, like right there. That one shows up, but that is how you do those. And that's pretty much it for interesting things on this block. The lock stitch is what I used on the trunk here, and you will see that we have a video about the lock stitch. So I'll see you next time.